Sublime magnificence. Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis, Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode of This Guy Hasn't Seen. And as usual, I am joined by my co-host and running mate, one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Hey, Omari, thank you so much for having me back. As always, I love being here. I love doing this thing, this little movie club where we trade things back and forth movies, TV shows, media, uh, everything in between. I just thought of a side shoot podcast. Let me tell you about it. Jazz is going to host it. It's called This Guy Hasn't Heard, and it's about sharing albums back and forth. Boom. You just did it. We'll see it later this year on Feo Grande YouTube channel. Coming at you on Fridays. New album Fridays. I don't know. um, yeah, I love doing this thing, trading things back and forth, talking about it with you. It's a
Yeah,
great time.
indeed. I also enjoy this very much. And yes, so this week we are trading things back and forth, and we are doing something where it's a not something we've done a lot of, or I've done, or not the type of movie I would usually suggest. Aside from the fact that it's an animal one, we are doing The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. Animated film
The
around.
Girl Who Leapt Through Time from 2006. It is a high school girl named Makoto acquires the power to travel back in time and decides to use it for her own personal benefits. Little does she know that she is affecting the lives of others just as much as she is her own. It is directed by Mamoru Hosoda.
Okay.
Would I have that pronunciation?
Momoru.
Momoru.
Yeah.
The same director as our episode Summer Wars,
Okay, it is the
several
same
several
director.
several weeks ago. Yes. Um, also the director of the original episodes of One Piece. He is the director of several other films that are critically acclaimed. Um, this is now our second film by him.
Yeah.
Omari, why,
Well,
why?
much like his other film, this is one that when I came down to college, and a lot of the Japanese films I brought on here, not all, but a lot of the Japanese films I brought on here, like your battle royals and suicide clubs and summer wars, suggested to me by college people when I first went to college. And, and as a hey, you think you're into anime, you think you're into this, let's watch this movie. Let me show you what good anime is like. I hadn't remembered as much. There are some things I did remember, and I will touch on them as we get through, like as we go through this. But it wasn't as strong in my memory as Summer Wars, but I did remember that it was a solid movie. And especially after, the man from Toronto being my last thing, had to come back with something that's at least halfway decent. You know what I mean? Compared, it'd be like Oscar compared, but you know what I mean. Had to come back with a stronger suggestion. And so I was
Yeah,
like, this is a good time. Also, we've touched on it before. I think you and I were saying we haven't done a lot of things with female protagonists or whatever.
yeah,
So this is a good little break away from the norm, well, while still being in our wheelhouse.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, had you heard of this movie? And if so,
Well, when we watched Summer Wars, um, my wife at some point checked the IMDb on it as very similar to what I tend to do when as I'm watching a film at some point through it, and she said out loud, "Oh, I've seen The Girl Who Leapt Through Time,
oh,
made by the same people." So I was aware of that, and then also saw it again several times
hmm.
as I was on the IMDb page myself for for this chat and when we were watching Summer Wars back then. So it was pretty quickly I was like, I'm pretty sure that's that film. So I had that in mind of like, all right, same guy.
Yeah.
So wondering if it'll be stylistically the same or if he switches it up through the movies. And then
And when you asked me last week, same director as Summer Wars, I had never thought to look. And in my head, I'm like, they very well could be when I think about it. But I'm like, I maybe I don't want to say yes for sure, but
yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
and beyond that, at the time of us watching Summer Wars, my wife couldn't really recall the her watching experience. She knew she watched it, but it was kind of a thing that was in the background,
Mm,
probably distracted through it thing, and she was like, I can't, I don't know. I think it was good. So I had that to go off of.
fair. Yeah, so that's entirely fair. And I had a similar vein like what you said, like think it's good. I knew it was better than the man from Toronto. And I'm like, I'm suggesting this. Uh so yeah, with that, I guess we'll go ahead and get started talking about the movie itself. As the movie starts up,
Omari, it is better than the man from Toronto.
yes. Very much so.
Fears can be quelled. Um yeah, man, this right off the bat, right off the bat from the start. This guy gets my vibe. Or I just get his vibe. Like it's the stuff that this guy makes is my kind of shit. Flat
Yeah.
out. Like he has a stylistic approach in his editing and his choice of space and his choice
Dialogue
of
and stuff.
silence and it's
Yeah.
it's very much like as soon as it's going off, it's similar to things that I said for Summer Wars. When it's small, it very much has like a 1994 indie film vibe.
Yeah.
Um
Like while
that
they're all like playing baseball and shit.
Yeah, well, and yeah, and
Very
just the way it's shot, way it's edited. Like
yeah. No,
when
I'm
you
saying
remove the
those are the kind of
mystical,
those are the kinds of the scenes where this is showing up is what I was saying. Like in
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, pretty much everything that's not her leaping through time. Uh, Kind of like Summer Wars, where it was like before you add the kookiness of the social networking site and all of that, it is very much just like, um, yeah, it's very small and understated and quiet, but like all in good ways. And my one of my early notes that I'll say and I kept thinking, I was like, I'm sure Omari's over there like, yes, filled with baseball. I've tricked Bill into I've got Bill this time.
For me, it was
Baseball's in
just
it.
like, oh, a bonus baseball.
Okay. um but the physical action, not just baseball but all of it in general, is very well animated. Like, and I know they're using special techniques to give those vibes, but it still feels, you still need that artist touch
Yeah.
to lay the final touches down. And yeah, everything in this feels very weighted, and and it feels, yeah, that's, I feel like that's the best way I could describe it, is it feels like it's got weight to it.
Yeah. My early note was like, these are some loud ass bug sound effects during the baseball. The fucking crickets, the I had to pause it. I thought that the crickets were going noisy outside my old apartment window. I'm like, holy cricket. Oh no. Okay. That's in the movie. That loud as fuck. I did like it though, but because like you said, it has a very realistic sense and weighted heavy feel to it. I noticed that about both movies. The slice of life side of things, where it's just, hey, this is just people being people. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
an anime, but it's a good case for an anime being more of a media style as opposed to a genre. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can have this normal type of movie in this genre, and it happens to be an anime on top of it. And this is a good, these kind of movies are good examples of that, I believe, when it comes to that. But yeah, we meet our main character, Makoto, clumsy, setting classrooms on fire and shit. The first like standout moment I have is her just like, oh no, I dropped this. Oh no. And we get the early, she has the intro to the time leap thing where she finds the little thing on the ground in the classroom, and Crunchyroll tried to like spoil things a bit. It's like the little skip intro thing came up at the bottom. I'm like, way to spoil that an intro's about to pop up. I'm trying to watch the damn movie. But yeah, so she does. So she like learns how to do that. Oh no, she doesn't learn how to do it, but she gets it, and she's like, clearly something's weird. And then she goes riding her bike, and this was where I remembered something in my head. I remembered that I had seen, not obviously I'd seen the movie, but I remembered a parody someone had done. So there's this thing called AMV Hell, another thing shown to me by the friends down here around that same time. And AMVs are anime music videos where you take clips from animes and put songs over them. AMV Hell was
Yep.
like an hour of comedy sketches and parody stuff using the
Mm-hmm.
same principle. So
Some,
I'm
some, so,
on.
one may maybe do like the songs of Linkin Park to the images of the cutscenes of a Tekken game.
Yeah.
One may make
Or
an
extreme.
anime music video like that.
Yeah, and it was very popular back in the day for people to do Linkin Park with Dragon Ball and or Naruto. Let me tell you. uh that was a that yeah. But there was a thing in AMV Hell of her riding the bike with the song from
Yeah.
Hercules. I am on my way. I can go the distance. I don't care how far. And then hit the thing, the inciting incident with the train. I
Yeah.
know every mile will be worth my while. Crash. And so I saw that, and the second I saw the shriek, the going the distance song popped into my head, and I'm like, yeah, that's this movie. She's gonna get hit by a train. Oh shit. Like it was coming back to me, just like I'm on my way. So I'm like, well, that ruined the scene for me. But no, she does it, and
I was very curious about that inciting incident
yeah.
as it's building up. Um, yeah, because this is my first time viewing, so don't know what's gonna happen here. Like, is she about to die? Is her leaping through time going to be in ghost form? My immediate thought is, oh no, she does have the ability to leap through time, but the end is always going like she's always going to be forced back. Like it's kind of like this, like when you're gonna die. That's the movie now, is that she has X amount of time until she has to be back in that spot getting hit by a train. Um these are kind of the thoughts go, and I'm just like, all right, what's gonna happen? What are we doing here? What are we doing? And then yeah, to obviously it's the inciting incident, so she doesn't get hit by the train. And but yeah, in that moment,
Yeah, especially with her
no clue what
narration.
was about to come to me.
Especially with her narration. This
Yeah.
is it. This is the moment I die. so and so, so and so, so and so. And it's like, okay, yeah, I can see definitely why you would come to that
Yeah,
conclusion.
the narration is very much a like, I bet you're wondering why I got here, how I got here. Like, I know it's crazy you're seeing me like this, right? The movie just started. Like, but I'm gonna die.
Yeah, so she survives by leaping backwards in time, and her aunt, who seems to know everything, Auntie Witch, I forget her name, something Yama. It's very Japanese, and I don't say that in a derogatory sense. I'm just saying it's a very Japanese name.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the aunt, she's like, "Oh, you just time leapt. What? Yeah, you ever wake up late and wish you could have woke up on time? It's kind of like that." Okay. But she does quickly understand how to use it and immediately starts abusing the powers because, of course, she would. Who wouldn't abuse the powers if you had that kind of ability? Up, redo. Aha. Not didn't fuck that one up. No, sir. I did think it was funny when they were talking about going out because she's hanging with two dudes, Chiaki and Koza, not Kozaburo, Ko something. Koza. No,
Hmm.
Kosuke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kasuke.
Yeah. So she's hanging with Kosuke and Chiaki, and they're like, and what's his name? They go to a karaoke thing. Chiaki doesn't want to do it. He's like, I don't want to do karaoke. Karaoke's stupid. So of course, it immediately cuts to him. Da, da, da. Time wait, saying the line "Time waits for no one" in his song, which was also written on the board in English. Time waits for no one
Yeah,
to
that's
start everything.
you know that's gonna be pivotal somehow. They're screaming it at you.
Yeah, and then she's just abusing her time thing to stay at the karaoke thing longer. And what I think is funny is whenever she does the fucking time leap, she has to like run, jump, and then she like rolls backwards into wherever she's like landing in time.
Right.
So they're
It's
just
aggressive.
saying, so they're just saying they're like, we're just talking, and then just what the hell did you just do? Don't worry about it. Let's do another song. What the hell? So it seems fun. You get a lot of little wacky shenanigans with her abusing her power throughout the early movie. But then eventually we get the first time where things are about to go wrong with her powers. We see a little bit of it. We see a little bit of the side effect with like some random dude setting the classroom on fire instead and having the bad luck that she had. We also see her
Hmm.
aunt just straight up ask her, like, so you like abusing your power? Have you wondered how it affects other people around you? How other people deal with the fact that you get all this good luck? That's not doing nothing. Immediately see the guy like swearing vengeance on her existence. I fucking but she has a moment where some girl has a crush on Kosuke and they try to have him talk with her, leaving her alone with Chiaki. And Chiaki decides he's gonna ask her out. And she didn't like that because he's breaking.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah,
Scene is heartbreaking.
yeah, and he's breaking the friend zone barrier. She don't like that, despite the fact that we find out from her aunt she also has a crush on him or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think she's aware of it.
Because she asked
I
her
don't
like at first,
because
like, "Don't you also like him?" Well, yeah, but I also didn't see us being anything more than friends. So it's like,
she was actually asking about Kasuke. She's like, I thought you always
well,
liked
I thought she has.
Kasuke. He's always so helpful and you're always speaking of him so nicely. Uh um
Yeah,
and then that's when she's like, well, yeah, like I like him, but I thought we'd always all be friends. Like
yeah,
through the first 65% of the film, I'm wondering if like part of the beeline quiet subtext of this film is that she's possibly she's atypical sexually, whether it's that's just completely asexual, just doesn't really get those vibes from people, or if maybe she just doesn't get those vibes from men. I was curious if that was a subtext to the whole thing because of
Uh,
how uncomfortable she got. And she never, it was pretty deep in that she like admits feelings for the redheaded gentleman. Before
yeah.
then, it's she's so
Yeah,
uncomfortable
I was
about it
like, hey, I was,
that
yeah,
I'm
so
curious if
awkward.
she's, yeah,
Yeah,
like
she just,
I'm wondering if she's like a asexual character, or if potentially she's, yeah, she hasn't realized she might be into women, or I don't know, because it doesn't, she doesn't feel like she's into guy. And when the men approach her about the idea, or the family in her life that she's talking to, she like coils at the idea of it. It was just like, and so yeah, very interesting.
yeah. But yeah, she constantly rewinds time to try and get around the conversation. And every time she tries to change the subject in their bike ride to avoid it, he brings it back up. Gets around to it. He's like, "What are you talking about? I don't care about your sister right now. I'm trying to ask you this. I'm trying to have a serious moment with you." To the point where she just eventually doesn't go on the bike ride with them, which just makes him mad at the other dude. And it's like, damn. You start seeing it, and now because she knows they had that conversation and he doesn't, she's super awkward around them, and she alienates herself from the friend group and all
Yep.
this stuff. And eventually, he does the smart thing and moves on. Um, hate to say it, folks. Well, I think he should hold up. No, he shouldn't. Look, man, if someone's not showing interest in you, you look worse, like not just in terms of how pathetic, but you also look worse for constantly coming at them, because now it's like, dude, take a hint. And so he took the hint. She kept trying to purposely ignore him, and there was a girl who clearly liked him in Yuri, I believe her name was. So he
Mm.
went with Yuri. And then what's her name? She realizes that she's got numbers on her arms, but she's trying to do like other shit, like play matchmaker. That don't work well. And then eventually she's talking about some shit with somebody, and she realizes, or she gets a text from Kosuke because her matchmaker thing finally kind of goes well, that he's hanging out with her. And then she realizes he's gonna take her bike, and it's gonna be that time of day where she died.
Oh,
Oh, and her chasing after him, and her trying to get them to stop, to get to a train that no one crashes at, and get that false hope. That false hope that I prevented the crash. It's okay. Only for we. Here's another train. Wait, what? Ding, 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 ding. And yeah, her brakes on her bike are broken, which is why she crashed the first time. They're still broken in her time skipped land. And she was down. She realized at one point that the counter on her arm counted down to how many things she had left. And she had one left that she used to avoid an awkward conversation with Chiaki, because Chiaki calls her and asks her just straight up. She thinks he's asking her about the dating. And he goes, "Have you been time leaping?" Awkward. Rewind time.
she's
Like,
so terrible about it.
she's like, "That's awkward. I'm rewinding time. The crash has been avoided anyway." And then dude runs past. And they crash. And then we get the reveal that Chiaki is from the future. He dropped a little time device that gave her this ability. And he used his last time stop to save Kosuke. And now he's stuck in the past because he wanted to see a painting. And the time police, I guess, we don't really know who, are gonna come after him because he told somebody about it.
Yeah, that's not ever very really explained.
Yeah. He's just like, "They're gonna come for me." Bye. What? Who? I'm like, and me, trying to remember stuff. I'm like, do we go against the time cops now? That what the last 30 minutes of this movie is, or whatever. But eventually, what's her name realizes that in rewinding time, he gave her back her thing. So now she wants to rewind time so he can see his painting and go home. And we get the cool stuff with all of that. Her rewinding the time, her doing her day different, her calling him, her playing matchmaker in a better way that's less forceful because that was something else she used like 80 things on. Just like, aha, ah, dang it, aha, ah, dang it. But this one, she's just like, how about you just ask them if they want to play baseball? This
Mm-hmm.
cool.
And let it evolve from there. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's expand our friend group. And through talking, y'all can get the whole thing she wants to reveal to him anyway
Mm-hmm.
about all this. Yeah. So I'm like, that's cool that she thought about that. And then she goes to Chiaki, tells him she knows his identity, and helps him get back to the future. And we
Yep.
have the super sad,
Which
like,
part of me is like, why are you going back? You don't make it sound very good, other than the fact that you guys could travel back in time.
yeah,
You've only kind of talked negatively about it. Like, you don't
yeah,
have art. Like, on what level do you not have art?
don't have art, you don't have baseball. Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
good to have baseball again.
People, grass. Said he's gonna miss a lot of things. It's like, why are you going back, bro?
Probably because he's got family and stuff there.
Yeah.
That would be my only guess. Is yeah, I can't permanently stay in the past away from my family.
Or unless, like you said, there's like some sort of time cop scenario, but we don't know about that.
Also true. But he goes back and he has that last little moment where he says, I'll wait for you and stuff to help ease her tears because she was bawling
Mm-hmm.
because she had finally realized, like you said, that she likes him. And then also at the same time, he's got to go back to the future.
Yep.
So that was a thing. And then, we kind of had the movie with everybody playing catch. I thought it was funny that they had the thing on the news where they're like, July 13th is nice day in Japan. Do you know why July 13th is nice day? Because Na Eat Su, like Na from Nana, meaning seven, Eat from Ichi. And then I'm not exactly sure how Su relates to three, but that's what it is. It's like Na Eat Su or Naisu. Nice. So
Okay.
July 13th is apparent, according to the movie at least, July 13th is a nice day in Japan.
Nice day.
And while we
Oh,
don't, we're so close to
we're
actually
so
recording
fucking
on it.
close. IRL. Not when this is airing, but IRL. We are so close for it to accidentally be
The date from the
damn
movie.
so close.
Uh, but that is the movie. I like the moments where they go through the time and you get the little like white area with the fucking time ribbons. Which,
Yep.
if you didn't think it was the Summer Wars guy, those scenes definitely remind
Yeah.
you that it's the same dude. Because you're just literally in the fucking, I forget the name of the computer word, Oz. You're like in Oz as you
Mm-hmm.
travel through time with the fucking clock strip.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so I don't really have any other moments. Like it's kind of weird. It's a movie that's definitely good and I definitely enjoy it, but standout moments isn't something that.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've encountered this with these kind of films before, where
Yeah.
it's not like, oh yeah, and then this thing exploded, and then remember when he punched that guy really hard, and then yeah, he threw that knife, and then he caught it with his teeth. Like, it's not. It's yeah. She went and played baseball, and then they awkwardly talked, and then she did some things to get food, and then like it's there's a but it's small like I said it in my opening it's small, it's understated, it's quiet, and in all the best ways.
Yeah,
So yeah, there's not a huge amount to be like this and that. It's just very good. It's just very good.
yeah, I agree. It is a very good movie. I did enjoy it. I realized why I hadn't watched it a lot since the last time I saw it, because as I said, it's not my particular wheelhouse of movies. That
Mm-hmm.
said, I can't deny that it's a good movie. The voice acting was done well. The art, like you said, the motion for the cameras and stuff. I do like the general, to take your word, I do like the general vibe of this man's movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did enjoy that. Momoru Hasada, I think he said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That sounds right. Let me double check before I just blindly say mm-hmm. Yes. Mamoru
Okay.
Hosada. Famous for this film, Summer Wars. Uh, film I'll be personally checking out very soon because of what has transpired the last few times. Wolf Children, one of his more recent ones. It's very apparently very highly rated. And then yeah, he was the original director for the One Piece series.
Yeah, I did not know that. But I can kind of see that with
Which
the some
usually
of the anime
director
stuff.
of episode one is like the guy who sets the tone stylistically. I
Hmm.
haven't watched One Piece, the series, to know if it switches around or plays with
Yeah.
that at all.
But
But
well, it
the
definitely,
visual,
him doing that definitely would have predated these movies.
yeah,
Cause
it's one of the earlier things that he did.
yeah, so I guess I can kind of see a little bit of it with some of the motion, but he definitely, well, and then there's directing, and then there's how much you do with the animation and stuff. But I can see
Yeah.
some similarities if I think hard enough. But
All
yeah,
right.
that is cool. There we have it. The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. It is a good movie. Watch it. Enjoy it. All
So
right.
much better than Man from Toronto.
Yes, indeed.
And better than Armageddon.
Yeah, I think it's better than
Wow.
Armageddon. Hold on. I think it's better than Armageddon, but I think I would rather rewatch Armageddon.
Okay. I can understand that. Yeah. Yeah. Um, So I don't know if I've verbally confirmed this with you or not, but I'm just gonna just take a stab. Speaking of Armageddon, next week's film, I'd love to be a follow-up of that. Um, you see, there was a crazy year where, or there was a crazy time in movies where there were like 2 to 4 major studios and they'd be like, "Oh, you're doing an asteroid movie, we're gonna do an asteroid movie. You're doing a volcano movie, we're gonna do a volcano movie. You're doing an earthquake movie, we're gonna do an earthquake movie." So what I'm proposing is we watch the alternate from the same year, uh a Deep Impact.
I have not seen Deep Impact, so
Perfect.
yes.
Usually I can guess these things pretty accurately.
Yeah. If you asked me what Deep Impact was, I would not have assumed it was about an asteroid. I would have assumed it had something to do with being underwater and like sharks, like an underwater shark movie.
Deep Impact, baby. That's what we'll be watching next
Yeah,
week on This Guy
that
Hasn't Seen.
there you go. And you can watch all of our previous episodes on this channel. You can also on Saturdays catch Bill and I in a show called You Don't Watch Sports. Two of us talking about 3 topics, help sprinkle a little casual information into your sports conversation. That's what your guiding light through the sea of sports talk. We also have a show on Mondays called Mock the Draft that pops up for once in a while where we draft various things back and forth. Do some fun things with there. Got a wrestling fantasy league. We got other stuff like Looney Tunes playing football.
Yeah, we just dropped Serial. We had a special guest Ibn, Big Bro Ibn, as he's known on the channel. who came through with you, and you guys drafted cereal mascots to fight to the death.
Yeah, it's a crazy idea. People have crazy ideas behind this channel.
That's what I'm
But
thinking.
it was fun. No, that was a fun episode.
Excellent. Yeah, more to come on that.
More to come on that. And on Wednesdays, I got a show called the Whatever We Want podcast with a good friend of mine and good friend of the show, the aforementioned Super Jazz. Where we
Super Jazz.
Thank you. We talk about just that, whatever we want. And that's on Wednesdays. We got some stuff popping up on this channel and more to come down the line. Bill, you got
Yeah,
anything?
stay tuned for Fridays where Jazz has his album sharing
Just
show, tentatively titled either This Guy Hasn't Heard, The Music Exchange, In Recollection. Um, if we want to be fully non-genderized, maybe This Person Hasn't Listened. Lots of options we can go with it, but stay tuned for Fridays for that.
they just saying it, huh?
Yeah, you say it enough
It's
and it just
on
becomes real.
Friday. Manifest it, as they say. Fair enough. Well, thank you.
Super Jazz, do you want to deny? Do you want to deny the power? The ultimate power that is the Fail Grande YouTube network. You can't deny it, brother. You gotta jump on the train before the train runs you over.
Why am I driving like a car? Anyway, we'll see you next time. Adios.